Hi, my name is Monique Alston Ingram, not Alston's daughter. I think what I remember most about my father coming to school was just the fact that he was always there. I remember, I don't know if I enjoyed that all the time as a student, but I do know that my father coming into school and him being present made a difference in how I believe teachers saw me. Usually you have the mother coming, and my mother was a teacher, so most of the students knew that. Start over. Hi, I'm Monique Alston Ingram, Nat Alston's daughter. As far as my father being involved in school and the plan that he had with him taking over from my mother, once we got to elementary school and high school, I would definitely say it made a difference because he was present and there. He wasn't just involved in my school activities, he was also involved in extracurricular activities. My father knew most of my friends and my brother's friends, I would say, and most of them had a decent relationship with him. We went to a school that was a high school that was pretty small, so one of the memories I have is we had a track team, and it was a small track team. There may have been only about 10 or 15 of us, if that. That's probably saying a lot. That's probably too many. But I do remember when we went to meets, we had this conversion van, and my father would load that up with snacks and drinks and food, and he would drive that to the games, and he opened that up to the whole team, not just myself and my brother, but everybody else who was on the track team could go and get something to drink. He pulled out the bed parts so after their races they could relax, and he just opened that up to himself. I just always remember my father making sure he was a part of my life and what was important to us. If it was a sport I wanted to play or something I wanted to participate in, it was important to him. Even if it was something that he didn't necessarily know anything about, he would be there. I know in the PowerPoint presentation that he's listed the two schools as Harper's Choice and Wild Lake High School, but I have a fond memory of my father when we were in South Carolina. And when we lived there, we were the only we were the only black people in our neighborhood, and that was very difficult. We went to a system that was still very segregated. They bussed in African Americans from poor sections of the state, and they didn't understand us because we were middle class and African Americans, so there was nothing like that. And I remember feeling alone a lot in school. I got spit on, I got picked on, I got called the N word, I got slapped at school. And I used to hide out in the library because I've always been a reader. And there was a book club there for parents. And my father joined. And he made sure he came. And he joined and he, made himself present. And he was the only male there. But, excuse me, I'm getting emotional. But he was the only male there and he came. And I always remember that because in that time that was so turbulent, my father was traveling a lot too. It was such a turbulent time for our family, and school was so difficult and hard. He was present and he was there. And I know that him being there and doing that made how the teachers saw me differently. Because for them also too, I don't think they in South Carolina had seen an involved parents. And not usually if they did it was probably just female, but an involved father I know was something different. And I know that once he came and once he started doing those things, those teachers looked out for me a little bit more than they probably had before because not only did they have a face with me, but they knew that I came from a father who cared and we were important to him and he wanted to make sure we got a good education. So that is one of the big things I always will remember about my dad and his involvement. That's one. There are many others to name, but what I took from that and what I'm doing with my own daughter is the same thing. And my husband and I both, he's volunteered at her school. I volunteered at her school. We're present. When they have PTA events, we show up. When they have conferences, we show up. And it's not just me, my husband does as well. We both try to volunteer and be present because I believe that for a teacher, when they know that a student has an involved parent and involved parents, it makes a difference in how they are with that child. I know that my daughter, her teacher has said, you're one of my strongest parents because she knows I support her. If they need something for class that I can provide, I try to provide it. When they're having things for teachers at the school, dropping off snacks and stuff like that, I try to do that as well to make sure that I'm present and seen in the school so teachers understand that my daughter's not just another student. So they know that she has parents that who will make her study hard and that I want my daughter to do well. I want her to succeed. And I think that makes all the difference. I think that parental involvement changes how teachers view their students. I think it makes a difference. I think that teacher is a lot more willing to send some extra help and some extra time. Or if Catalea has a bad day, she's willing to say, okay, I know she's just having a bad day. She's not going to pigeonhole her as having someone who has bad behavior because she knows that I'm there and I'm present. I don't think you can put a price on what parental involvement means for a student. Not just to the student's teacher, but for the student themselves. All kids like to see their parents showing up at school. Now, when I was in high school, yeah, I think he was there probably a little bit more than I would have liked, because he just used to show up. But even though sometimes I kind of was like, why is my dad here again? It was nice. It was nice to have him there and to have him be present and to have him be supportive. I appreciated that. And that's something that's continued throughout this today. I know I was just supposed to talk about how I'm doing this with kids and my children and what I took from that, but my father's still present. So it's a never ending thing as a parent. And not only is he just present for me, he's present for my daughter as well. He has gone to things at her school. I know my mother will volunteer at her school, and they have done things and shown up at events and things like that. So not only do the people at the school know me, they know my parents. And I think that creates an even bigger impression on them because they know that Catalea has an excellent support system and that everybody's expecting her to succeed. So I would say, parents, please, as much as possible in your schedules, get involved. It makes a difference to the teachers, the administrators, and most of all, it makes a difference to your child. The look on their face when they see their parents coming in for things. And I know my father has middle school and high school in here, which I think is extremely important. But don't forget elementary school. Showing up for those little events, going on a field trip, it makes the world of difference to your child. And those are memories that they carry with them forever. Thank you for your time.